Today I'm going to teach you how to do steel wool photography. Okay, so now I'm just going to explain a little bit of what steel wool photography is. Now, steel wool photography is a type of light trail photography, like I did last week, and I also talked a little bit about steel wool photography. But the difference with steel wool photography is it is actual embers and flames, and it does give a much different effect, and honestly, I believe it's a cooler effect. Now, as you can see, these are very interesting photos. You see them a lot on Instagram. If you look at most photographers have done it at least at some point, and it's just a really cool way to get a new type of photo. Now, it is a little bit more dangerous. You do need to be safe. Wear long sleeves, black clothes so you don't appear in the photo, but as well as the fact that you want to be wearing long clothes so sparks just don't hit you. Okay, the equipment you're going to need to do the steel wool photography is first off the steel wool. Now, the steel wool is important to get a grade of 0 to 4 zeros. Now, you can get it anywhere in between there. They sell these at hardware stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you can find it. Now, it's important you don't get a grade of 1, 2, or whatever else you can get your hands on. It needs to be from 0 to 4 zeros, anywhere in that range, because this is actually the only steel wool that will burn. The other is too thick and it won't burn. And the more zeros you have, the more sparks you're going to be able to get. So, me personally, I like to have a grade of 4 zeros, which is going to give me the most sparks, and if you go with a grade of 0, that works fine. Next, you're going to need a whisk and a leash. Now, you're going to need the whisk so you can actually put the steel wool in that, and then you need the leash to clip to the bottom of the whisk so we can use that so we have a handle to whip around the whisk. And lastly, you obviously need a lighter, and you'll need a camera and a tripod, and you do need a camera that will be able to do a long exposure. Alrighty, for the settings I like to use personally, I like to do a shutter speed of 30 seconds. That's mainly because this is the longest most cameras can do, and the longer the better works for me personally. Now, I usually have my aperture set at f8. Now, you can experiment with this. I've done that myself. You can get some interesting differences, but this is what I usually try to stick with. I just tend to put it at ISO 200. This is just so you don't get any sort of grain, because you can keep your ISO low because you are just focusing on the light, so your photo will turn out good. For the white balance, I don't really mess with much. You can leave this on whatever generic settings you have, but if you want a specific setting, I usually just go with a tungsten setting just to get the best lighting so I can edit the actual color in post. And I personally almost always want to shoot in RAW because this is the best footage possible, so if you can shoot in RAW, I really suggest it, especially for these photos since they do get a really nice sense of detail. And now I'm just going to wait for it to get dark outside so I can actually show you guys how to do this effect. Okay, so it's not quite dark out, but as you see here, I am tearing apart the steel wool, and you really want to fluff it up. This is so it's going to burn and you can get some really nice sparks flying all over the place. And once you got it fluffed up, you're going to grab your whisk with the leash attached, and you're just going to put the steel wool inside the whisk. And once you have it inside the whisk, you're going to take your lighter and you're going to light the steel wool. And then once you have it burning, you want to take the burning embers and just start swinging it. This is how you're going to get that cool effect with the long exposure, and it's going to give you these amazing photos like you saw earlier. And that's how you do steel wool photography. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's how you do that.